Hello, CHistrue, and I said in my last video that it might be the last video I make, and that might be true about this video also, but I want to talk about something really important. And I want to talk about a change in our culture that is not good, and how to stay sane while that change is occurring. And if this video is a little bit, I haven't done these videos in a while, so I might stumble over my words. If I do, I apologize. Try to get the meat out of this. While there are some who are emphasizing science and critical thinking more and more, there are others who are fleeing from it. They're fleeing into literal beliefs about religion, paranormal, and I'm not necessarily. I've made some videos on the paranormal and investigating the paranormal open-mindedly, but what I'm talking about are claims made in some New Age circles, just like there are claims made in creationist circles that are complete nonsense. Now, I do not agree with everything that the skeptics say, hook, line, and sinker. That's another subject. For one thing, they don't seem to want to investigate things like JFK and various conspiracies. They seem very much against even going there. And I think that that's very unscientific of them, if you ask me. But I do believe that they have the right idea, that we need to remain logical and grounded. I mean, it was a claim that fundamentalists made that if we had the Supreme Court legalize gay marriage, that there'd be floods and hurricanes and all kinds of people turning gay, and there'd be nothing like that has happened. It's had no impact on the heterosexual family whatsoever, unlike no-fault divorce, which to me, getting rid of that would be a very worthy social project. No-fault divorce has destroyed the family. But gay marriage has done nothing of the sort. It's a convenient... Here, let me just open this window here. Sorry about that. Gay marriage has done nothing of the sort. Now, I'm not going to dwell on that because I'm not going to dwell on that on other things that are unimportant because that's the media's job. My job is to talk about what's important. What's important is staying sane in an era of manipulation. Majority rule only works where people are logical, where people are rational. If people are not logical and rational, majority rule becomes demagoguery. So you have a fascist oligarchy that then rules over a population entertained with bread and circuses. In such a situation, you have what Thomas Jefferson feared the most: inequality of wealth, with a very top level of the population focusing on what's good for them, and the bottom level of the population believing in superstitions. They believe in magic, they believe in ghosts, they believe in burning witches, they believe in the world's only a few thousand years old, whatever it is. And so you, and most of my subscribers are in this category, you as a critically thinking individual are going to have to stay sane in a society in which the simulacra becomes reality, in a society in which what people see on television and maybe even on YouTube becomes a distraction from things that are really important, like, oh, I don't know, the trade partnership of the Pacific, which is going to outsource a whole bunch of jobs, or environmental destruction, or the destruction of our rights. And they become distracted into things that are unimportant. And it's not just conservatives, by the way. I mean, liberals might see some kind of shooting and say that we need more gun control, when really gun control would do nothing. Gun control, most violence in the world happens in places where there's strict gun control, including organized violence like genocides or crusades or that type of thing. Have not been in societies with a Second Amendment. So the idea of getting rid of the Second Amendment as a solution to crime that a lot of people on the progressive end of the spectrum have, that's just as crazy as believing that gay marriage is going to send hurricanes and floods. Both of these are crazy ideas. But these kind of alternative subcultures that you find on YouTube are in some ways even worse. One wonders, a lot of them rightfully, okay, they rightfully do not trust government propaganda, and I will agree that, you know, we do not trust official stories at this point, but and I have not for many years now. But on the other hand, if you're going to have an outlet that does not trust official sources and official stories, that's the very first place I'm going to go to undertake psychological manipulation. That's the very first avenue I'm going to go to say, let's mess with these guys. Let's get them to believe, I don't know, the latest one going around is the idea that the Earth is flat. Yeah. You heard it here. Never mind the Coriolis effect. You can build your own Foucault pendulum. I don't know what that is, but you can build your own Foucault pendulum, unless you're on the equator. But if you're anywhere else, you can build your own Foucault pendulum and watch as it moves. Well, it would be 24 hours at the poles, and as you go down towards the equator, it would take longer for it to circle all the way around. You can build one. You can see a ship as it would appear to sink. You know, the curvature of the Earth will cover the bottom of it. And by the way, the curvature of the Earth is not exponential, but that's another subject. You can climb a mountain and very clearly see that the horizon gets lower and lower, whereas on a flat plane, the horizon would appear at more or less the same angle to you on the high mountain as it would at the bottom, at the bottom, you know, on ground level. So that and any number of scientific facts that tell you that the Earth is round. But it's interesting what they say. What they say is that it's NASA propaganda that the Earth is round. And see, this is the manipulation here. What it's stating is you believe authorities. You either believe the authority of NASA, or you believe the authority of some goofball on the internet who claims that there's some dome made out of glass. At no point are you ever told that through science and reason you can investigate for yourself. And by the way, I do believe we went to the moon. Okay, I'm going to be honest. That's another subject. But I do understand why in this day and age of lies, of deceptions, of psyops, that people do not believe in official stories and official sources in the mainstream media. I don't either. So you have to use your reason. And just like you use your reason with claims made on the mainstream media, you have to use your reason with claims made on YouTube. And so I agree with the skeptics. I don't agree with them on conspiracies, and I don't necessarily agree with their absolutely closed-minded views on things like the UFO question or possibilities that may lie beyond normal perception and that type of thing. But I agree with them that the scientific method, but even more important than the scientific method, the method of logical thinking, the method of not believing, of default assumptions that must be disproven, that is something that we must hold on to. Because majority rule does not work in a mental institution. That's a line from a song. And as a society, we are becoming a mental institution. And this is, you could say, oh, well, yeah, it's by design, it's planned and everything. But I say, no, I put a lot of the responsibility on people themselves who don't want to think, they don't want to read, they don't want to investigate, they don't want to do their own scientific experiments, they don't want to, one woman climbed a mountain and noticed a shadow of a mountain being higher than the horizon, okay? A curved earth, right? It's very simple. You can do these things. Now, she's very athletic. You can build a Foucault pendulum. You can investigate things for yourself. It doesn't mean you have to believe everything mainstream science says, vis-a-vis their kind of retro, let's go back to the Newtonian age of physics and forget quantum physics and everything like that. I'm not, you know, there's a manipulation at that end too. But please understand that if you are going to investigate things outside of the mainstream, you are a target for manipulation. And you need to stay sane and you need to be intelligent. And if you cannot think critically and you do not have the education, then you shouldn't be doing it. That's harsh language, but it's the truth. CHistrue over and